Hi, this is Lexa Doig, and you're listening to the FSF podcast.
The show that tried to explore the stars, but only found Emperor Ming and the Magog. Whoopsies.
Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports the Wish Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt crewman number 2005. She'll know that when she puts on the red shirt and joins the crew of the Enterprise in their struggle against the Magog, in defense of the Commonwealth, that she didn't leave her family destitute and without hope, because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has her back, and what's left of her Force Lance.
All right, guys, our guest today is an actor who has a seriously impressive resume of some not only nerdy sci-fi shows, but some really cool pop culture stuff. And then, there's the everyday stuff too. Yeah, but I'm paying attention to the nerdy sci-fi and pop culture stuff because that's what we do here. But yeah, she's got shows to her credit like Andromeda. There's Arrow, Chucky, Stargate, SG-1, Flash Gordon. I could keep going. There's a very, very cool list. We are so excited to have Lexa Doig on the FSF podcast. Welcome to the show, Lexa.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Woo! Yeah, we're always excited when somebody says yes. We're like, oh my God, she said yes, we're gonna do it. It's gonna be a thing. It was a thing.
I'm just admiring your your Funko Pop collection.
Oh, he's got a problem.
It's my life goal to be a Funko Pop. I kind of thought they'd have one for Talia al Ghul, but they didn't seem to have one.
So you know what the great thing is right now is that if you go to or you can do probably the best way to find this is if you do a Google search for Funko Pop yourself, which is just an awful name. But you
it's
can
got
design
potential for humor. But yeah.
Oh, humor, yes. Everything else, it's awful. But you can create a Funko of yourself, and they will. It's for like $40, $45.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't know what the shipping would be to Canada, but to the United States, I think shipping it in a hard plastic container with your solo design Funko and everything else, I think was like $45 altogether with shipping. So
okay.
So really not that bad.
It's a bit pricey, but yeah, no, but not too bad. That's Funko Pop yourself.
Yeah. So if you have a minor slight addiction, like some people that we're not going to mention, me, then and Kathleen would be so proud of me. The Comic-Con I was at last weekend, I only bought 2 Funkos.
Oh, good.
Because I wasn't there to continue to tell you to.
Pretty much. Technically 3, but the third one I had signed by somebody, and we're going to have that put up for auction to donate Wish Upon a Teen.
Oh, very nice. So Kathleen, you're an enabler. You are a Funko Pop enabler.
I am an enabler, and then I will give him absolute crap about how much stuff he has.
She mocked me from a distance.
Excellent.
But when I'm close, she's like, you should totally buy that so I can get a discount.
Nice. Well played.
It does work.
Well played.
All right, Lexa. So with such an impressive resume of shows to your credit, we, as your humble nerd host, like to know the who, what, and how and why of our guests. We love origin stories. So in the story of little Lexa, what was the influence in your life that made you want to become an actor? And maybe even more particular, to be involved in sci-fi and these really strong pop culture shows, like the ones we mentioned in the intro.
So there were a couple of things at play when I was a kid. One, I don't know, I just always wanted to perform. So whether it was like the church play or the kindergarten strawberry shortcake play, which I take credit for writing and producing. My mother made the costumes as well. And awesome. I did not go the ego route and play strawberry shortcake in the strawberry shortcake play. I played lemon meringue, and I wrote the part of strawberry shortcake for my friend Karen Ong to play. So she played strawberry shortcake. Just saying that I'm more of a team player in regards to write. So it's not all about me. It wasn't a vanity project. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Anyway, but my parents were also members. Like they would purchase the membership at a professional theater. So you get the membership every year so you can see all the plays. And in Toronto, where I grew up, that was either going to be at the Royal Alexandra Theatre or what was then known as the O'Keefe Centre. I don't know what it's called now. And when I was 6 or 7, they took me to see Porgy and Bess. And I wanted to be Porgy. And for your listeners that aren't necessarily familiar with that particular musical, it's a beautiful musical. The music's great. But it's also, it's about the main character, Porgy, is a disabled Black man in the South, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so he spends the entire musical walking around on his knees. So to me, in the audience, and this was the 70s, because I was born in 73, I saw a short man of color on stage. I didn't entirely understand, like, I didn't understand the cocaine storyline. Like, I didn't understand any of that stuff, but I wanted to be Porgy because I identified with Porgy. And my poor father had to kind of explain to me, you'll never play Porgy. Which kind of broke my heart. But then I went to see Evita, and I wanted to be Eva Peron. So 7, 8-year-old Lexa running around the house, screaming, like, you know, singing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" and "Watch Out, Buenos Aires." Like, I was a bit extra as a kid. So that's kind of where it started. But genuinely speaking, I didn't think that I could be a professional actor because I didn't see people that look like me on television. So representation does matter. It was kind of one of those things, like becoming a professional actor. I remember I modeled for 13 seconds, but I did a few commercials. And then in the commercial world, that's where models and actors kind of work together, because you'll get hired either from a modeling agency or from an acting agency to be in a commercial. And so I met some friends that were actors, and they're like, if you want to act, I can get you an interview with my agency. And so my whole kind of process of getting into the business professionally was just kind of like, oh, really? You can? Okay. So it's just a matter of saying yes when people were offering me opportunities, simply because I didn't think that they would go anywhere per se. So there was nothing to lose, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
They were very low stakes kind of things. And then I would just sort of audition and get hired on things. So from there, I managed to, like, and I did theater programs and things like that in high school. So I wasn't completely ill prepared for it. But yeah, I'd say most of my learning has been done on the job and in class, as opposed to in like a degree program or anything like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Whereas you said your husband had.
Yeah, he went to.
For it.
Oh yeah, he's trained up the yin yang. He went to the bachelor. He's as a BFA in fine arts acting from UBC, which is the same program our younger daughter just got into and is studying at. And we keep getting these funny phone calls from her where she is borderline outraged. I don't want to get her in trouble, but she called us yesterday and she's like, I just sat in a class and listened to the professor or the instructor tell me for an hour and a half what an objective is. So that's what you're paying for. And I'm like, okay, who else is in the class, honey? And she's like, oh, it's all the film production people who are wanting to learn the other aspects of film production. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's why the teacher is giving the basics out.
Right.
As you go on through the program, you will get the more acting specific advice that is more where you're at. And she's like, well, I hope so. I'm like, oh God, dear.
Oh, kids are fun. Now.
Yeah, have kids, they said. No, but she's a very humble kid. She's very sweet. So I'm making her sound like a jerk, and she's completely not. She's the exact opposite of a jerk, but it's still kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
We had a conversation with somebody, actually, my wife and I, this afternoon. We were talking to somebody, and they were asking about our kids. I'm like, yeah, we decided we're not going to have any more. They're like, oh, really? I'm like, I mean, we decided that long ago. I'm like, yeah, we told them at dinner last night. They haven't taken it too well.
So, Lexa, I enjoy getting to know our guests a little bit before we get to talk to them. And as any sane person does, I Google search and
excellent
cyberstalk just a little bit.
Fantastic.
So I looked through your Instagram, which, yes, which, I mean, again, any sane person would go to social media. Social media is a great place to get to know people. Sure. And I was not at all disappointed when I found out exactly what the internet is made for: cats.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I am a certified cat person to the
I
point where
adore that.
I just said to my husband yesterday, I'm like, apropos of nothing, I don't trust people who hate cats.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like it's one thing to say I don't really know cats, I'm not familiar with cats, or I don't know, like they're just a little weird to me. To have like a non-committal kind of like, because I've never had a cat, that's fine. But the people who are like, I hate cats, I am suspicious.
You hate cats.
Fair.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
They're
Like
the best.
they're, I mean, other than the fact that they're little shitheads in furry
yeah.
bodies,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, it's like we put up with human shitheads, and they're not nearly that cute,
No.
right? So I don't know.
So I was particularly amused by Gray, aka Not Your
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah, gravy.
And I was also recently, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse yet by the cat distribution system. We had a kitten show up in our driveway who now lives with us. Yeah.
See, this is what I want. I see that. God, I see what you've done for others. Can you do this for me?
Right? Oh yeah,
I
no.
see other people finding kittens.
When the cat distribution system hits, though, it hits. Like
It hits. Did you see that one video of a guy who pulled over because he saw one kitten on the side of the road and the kitten comes out and he picks it up and like 13 or 14
Oh my gosh, yes.
just come through the grass like this. I was like, this is what heaven looks like. Why can't I have this?
Jackpot.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get to know more about your cats. You have Hicks, was that the other one?
Yes,
The
Hudson
one
and
who's
Hicks.
actually your cat?
Yeah, see if you can guess what movie they're named from. Hudson and Hicks. If you are sci-fi fans, I reckon you might know.
I should.
I'm thinking Hudson Hawk.
No, Hudson and Hicks. I
Boy,
give you
what?
a hint.
Yes, please.
I think we should just take off and nuke them from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Oh, it's Alien. Nice.
Aliens, yeah.
Very nice.
Yes.
My husband Michael did that. He named our last cats Rosie and Gildy, who were Emma Rosencrantz and Jemima Guildenstern. But these guys are just Hudson and Hicks.
I love
Nice.
that. I absolutely love that. We have 3 cats. So the kitten is
Nice.
the newest addition. My husband named his cat after Nymeria, the
Excellent.
direwolf from Game of Thrones.
100% approve.
Oh yeah. But then of course, because cat names evolve, her middle name is Patrice, named
Mhm.
after Patrice from How I Met Your Mother.
Excellent.
Because then you can yell, nobody asked you, Patrice.
Yeah.
My tuxedo cat is named after Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald, so he's Ernest Fitzgerald. And
Nice.
then my daughter decided to name the kitten Bowser Jr.
Okay.
We've been on a Mario kick, so
I
he's
can
Bowser Jr.
100% get behind all of those names.
Oh yeah. My husband,
Yeah.
on the other hand, thinks that the kitten's name should be Steven because he wants to name him after Stephen Hyde from that 70s show.
Okay, fair. I think Steve is a great name for a cat.
Steve is a great name for a cat, but it's
Steve
the
is a great name for a cat.
it's the he lives in my house and I don't really want him here, but I'm going to accept him like Red did. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
Totally understand.
Cats
But
are kind of funny.
Cats are hilarious. Tim
They're the
also
best.
has cats.
I do. I have
Yeah.
2 cats. Yeah. We've got a black cat. His name is Vader because
Of course.
he's all black with a white box on his chest, and he is a bit of a butthead.
Right.
Except to
and
me, he loves me.
he's very nice and loving, but he's also annoying as the day is long.
Yeah.
He's decided in the last 2 years to become very, very, very vocal and must talk to me at all times. If I walk, he meow barks at me when I walk into my room.
Excellent.
So I call him my dog cat because he barks
Yeah.
at me until I come over and pay attention to him.
Yeah,
and
we've
then
got
we
one
ha-
of those.
And then we have 7. We were going to name him either we were going to name him Hank McCoy or Henry after, because he was he came to us cat distribution system. We were sitting out on our deck, and this little mangy looking thing comes walking up on our retaining wall above us. And I looked at my wife and my daughter, and with strict orders to not touch him, pet him, look at him, feed him, water him, nothing else with a heartbeat is coming into our home.
And
The next morning they were giving him a bath, feeding him, watering him. Because apparently they had snuck him out food the night before, and so he stuck around. But
not
we
gonna
ended up,
lie, I would do the same thing.
yeah, I know. I was mad for about 30 seconds. But we named him Seven because his paws he's polydactyl. So he has 7 toes and 8 claws. Yeah. Oh yeah. It looks like he's running with mittens when he runs.
Oh, he's like going to take over the world.
Oh, he already has.
When cats have thumbs, that's like,
yeah,
that's the next step of evolution. That's when we have to start welcoming our feline overlords.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And he's a cloud. He is a cloud cat.
It's just a big old puffball. But he's also has an extra little wonky claw right here in the middle. And this here, so he's got seven toes, 7 little toes, and 8 claws. Yeah.
Wow.
So we call him Seven.
Yeah, that's fair.
He is
part cat, part marshmallow.
Yeah, he's aggressively cuddly. When he wants to cuddle, you will cuddle him. You will stop what you're doing. It doesn't matter. Like I'll be sitting down because I write for a website as well, and I'll be sitting there at my desk and I'll be typing away and I'll be writing an article, and all of a sudden he's like, you get a very short burst of a meow warning,
right? And
then he's on your lap, and he's headbutting your hand like, come on, let's do this. Aww. And instantly purring as soon as you touch him. But he's
that's so sweet.
Everybody except for my neighbor across the street loves him,
right?
Because he's indoor outdoor cat, and he is probably the best hunter of a cat I've ever seen.
Oh wow!
And my new neighbor across the street set up a bird feeder low to the ground.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you see where the problem is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he came over all upset to me that my cat is dining at his buffet, and I'm just like, you literally set up a buffet across the street. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah,
well, I just want my wife to be able to watch the birds. I'm like, then get it off the ground.
Yeah, they come with the bird feeders come with these little sticks that you can put in the ground.
My favorite part about the whole conversation is he told me I needed to train my cat better. I'm like, have you ever tried training a cat to do anything? Ever? It doesn't work. Did you see that
video? There was a video that went viral about these neighbors that were fighting with their other neighbors because the neighbor one was upset that their cat was going to the other neighbor's house and hanging out in their garden. So they were upset with the neighbor saying, you got to shoo him away. You got to tell him he can't come here. And they're like, he's a cat.
Right.
You can't tell a cat where to go. Are you crazy? And meanwhile, they're like, give us our cat back. We're going to call the police on you.
The cat knows where he wants to go.
Keep your cat inside.
Yeah, then keep your cat inside. What is that? Like, it's not, it's kind of,
I love
people. We had a neighbor that hated one of our cats. And I love cats. We can't let our cats out. So these boys that we have, Hudson and Hicks, are the first indoor cats we've ever had, which having indoor outdoor cats in the past, I have a template for what I think is cat behavior. And I think keeping them inside does something to them because they're not that great at catting. In fact, they're very bad at it sometimes. Yep. And it's comedic to me. I'm sorry, but I find it very funny and very endearing that Hicks in particular, who is a cloud, he is one of those cats. We find little Hickses all over the house because he just like drops them off of his fur. Like he just drops what could be a kitten off of his fur. But yeah, he can't jump or climb. And I'm sorry to say, very, very funny.
I would find that amusing as well. Yeah.
This kitten, so he's about 6 months old, has just started to hit like the teenager cat stage where he is very much, like I said, it's the have we been blessed or have we been cursed, because he is a hellion at this point. And I'm pretty sure he has beans for brains. He has taken to swinging on our shower curtain like Tarzan.
Oh,
he will run and jump into the bathroom, grab the shower curtain, and launch himself at whichever of the other two cats is coming out of the litter box. Like, dude, you have to stop.
He's like, no.
You are tearing apart. You are tearing apart my shower curtain, and you're scaring the adult cats. Like,
I need to come back over just to see that.
Gosh. He is such a monster.
I love
I
it.
love it. I love it.
And he steals toys. He steals my daughter's toys, like specifically like Barbie accessories. He will bat them off of whatever surface she's playing on when she's not looking and then run off with them.
Yeah, we periodically find things in strange places. Like, so in my bathroom and the bottommost drawer is where I keep kind of like hair elastics and scrunchies and things like that. And I'll find those things around the house. And I'm like, what? And I go into my bathroom and the drawer's been opened and Hicks has gone into it and taken the things out and just decided to leave them all over the house. And I'm like, on the one hand, I'm irritated and angry, but not like deeply angry, just mildly irritated. On the other hand, I think it's hilarious because surprises are fun, provided they don't involve vomit or poo. Right. So I'll take that. And I also worry sometimes because I think my cat is dumb. And Hicks disappears sometimes, and my husband and I always refer it to he's just checking in on the mothership because we don't know where he goes. We have no idea. He can't get out, but we don't know where he goes. And it's somewhere in the house. He's found a portal. I don't know if he's found a portal. I would like to know.
He's built
Looks
one.
kind of fun.
I'd like to
go
out of hair
through
ties.
It. Right? It's like he's building and I don't know. He's like going to recharge the brain cell. I'm not sure what's happening, but
Love it.
My tuxedo cat, my Ernie, will open bathroom drawers too. And it's so funny is that it's like 2:00 in the morning and you hear the I'm like, do you stop opening the drawers?
Yeah,
and
there's
he
things
steals
in there.
things. Oh, my mother-in-law's got like little ace bandages for her fingers. She's got really bad arthritis, and he steals those specifically.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Everything else, he goes for the little finger bandages. And I'm like,
of course.
Heard.
Well, why
Bless him. Yeah.
Yeah. I got video of him opening the bathroom drawer one day, though, and that's way funnier than it should be. And now, a word from our show sponsor, Level Up Sabers. Their link can be found in the show notes.
All right, now for those of you who are playing the home version of the game and aren't aware, Lexa is also married to Michael Shanks, aka Daniel Jackson from Stargate SG-1. Now, in the 9th season of SG-1, you played a character called Carolyn Lam.
I did.
And now Michael had been on that show for quite some time at that point, obviously for several years now. But in your opinion, what are the pluses and minuses on working on a project like that with your spouse?
I really like working with Michael, and we get along really well. So it was only pluses for me. The only minus was childcare at that time because when I started on the show, I had just given birth to our younger daughter. Our older daughter, Michael's daughter, was living in LA with her mom. So we didn't have her all the time. So childcare with her wasn't as much of a challenge, obviously, but with the infant, it could be. That's kind of the only downside. And at this point, our kids are old enough that childcare isn't an issue. So I would be very happy to work with them again. And again, also at the time, a lot of the people that we were working with had become our friends socially. So we used to joke as we're sitting around in the trailer between takes, and everybody's like hanging around in each other's trailers, that it was like, this is like a Saturday night. And yet we're getting paid to work. So it was cool. It was a good time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed working on Stargate.
See, because the reason I asked the question is because I love my wife. I adore her.
Right.
She's my best friend. I love hanging out with her. But our minds work so differently. Like when she's at home to work, if she works from home that day, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to the office. I love you, but I'm gonna go because
I'll see ya.
I'll see you because we work. Like if we have a project that we want to work on, Like if it's something outdoors, like in the garden, or we're working on firewood, we can work very well and in sync with one another. But if
Right.
it's something, even the remote is a bit technical or anything else, it's like, okay, so I'm going to assign you this part. I'm going to assign myself this part, and we'll meet back in an hour, see how everybody's done. Okay,
Right.
good, and break. So
Smart. Very smart.
because although she's awesome, one of us doesn't have good level of patience, and I don't want to say it isn't her. So,
but I love how you're implying it. Like, I love how you're like, one of us doesn't have a lot of patience. I don't want to say it's not her.
Yeah,
but it might be her.
It might be. It depends on the topic and what we're dealing with. But
right.
I'm also the one with an extreme lack of patience, and so when those two clouds collide, it's just sometimes. So I'm always curious about that when I see that two people who are married in the entertainment business and they've worked on shows together. Did they find it to be an encouraging experience? Did they enjoy doing it? Would they do it again? And so clearly, you said it was all pluses. So that's really good. I like that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the thing is, on Stargate in particular, we're both actors, so we kind of have. There's no hierarchical kind of power struggle or anything like that.
Right.
Working with Michael when he's directing, which I've also done, is also great for me. I'm very happy to do it because he's an excellent director. So I trust him as a director and he trusts me as an actor, which is great. So because we know how to communicate, a lot of acting and like our jobs require a high level of an ability to communicate effectively. And we've been married over 20 years. So we've figured that out.
Yeah.
It's hard won, but we figured it out. So at this point, we know how to communicate with each other, and we have the same sensibilities. That's the other thing that I've noticed too. Sometimes when couples work together, is we have a similar sensibility, which is there are things you don't bring out, or disagreements that you save for later that you don't have. You know what I mean? When others are around, and so that kind of thing, which actually hasn't happened to us, but we have the same sensibility, like. You know how sometimes there are couples that get maybe a little too comfortable in terms of conflict, and then everybody around is like, this is really uncomfortable for me. Oh, yeah. I don't want to be part of this. Mom and dad are fighting. So, we don't have that, which is thankfully pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I've worked with my husband. We've both worked separate places. I love working with him. Like we worked in a long-term care facility together, and that was like the most like in sync team that we had was when I was in CNA. I was a certified nursing assistant. He was med pass, or he was in the kitchen, and it was like we were on top of stuff because it was I didn't even have to say words. I would just be like, "Hey, John," and he'd run, and I'm like, "This is great. I love that."
Yeah, it's a very similar kind of dynamic with Michael and I.
Yeah, and my husband and I are like those people that the more time we spend apart from each other, like if we spend like an entire day apart from each other, we have to like relearn how to talk to each other. But if we spend all of our time together, we're fine. We got this. Right. Oh, okay.
That's funny.
So having over 50 acting credits on IMDb, at least.
Oh wow, that many.
Yeah. I did kind of steal this from the Andromeda group as well. I don't remember who it was who I stole this question from. But do you have any characters that you wish that you could go back and play again? And would there be anything different about how you portrayed them?
Actually, I think maybe Carolyn Lam. And I don't know that I would do anything much differently. I just wouldn't mind having another go because I didn't love. My head was, like I said when I first started on the show, I had recently had my daughter, and I didn't realize at the time that I had postpartum depression.
Oh, okay.
But I did, and I only realized that when I had my son and I didn't have it. And I was able to kind of look back and go, oh shit, so you're not supposed to feel like that? Okay. But maybe that one, maybe Carolyn. And I would just want to have another go. It's not like there's anything specific that I'd like to do differently.
Sure.
But I don't know. And I say that with a question mark because most actors will tell you you're never finished. Like there's no end point as an artist when you're acting. That's why some people say they'd love to have worked with like Kubrick, for example, who is notorious for doing like 1,000 takes. And others that would be like, I could never work with Kubrick because of that, because of the journey of being an actor is you're constantly kind of exploring and discovering with the dialogue and the scene and your scene partner that there is no right or correct way of doing it. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like as you're watching it, you sort of go, I would love to keep going. That's, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense for people that aren't in the business, but yeah, it's kind of like looking at a painting and sort of like, is a painting ever truly finished?
Right.
Actually,
understand that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the, I think it was either Twyla Tharp or Martha Graham. I think it was Martha Graham that referred to it as the divine dissatisfaction of being an artist.
Like that, actually.
Yeah.
So we, Kathleen mentioned it, but some of these questions that we're asking you now are from an Andromeda fan group on Facebook, run by a friend of the show, Eddie McDonough. And we told him that we were going to be talking to you, and the group was like, "Yes, we have questions." And so, yeah, they were very excited. So that last question was actually from James Sturr.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. This next one is from Gregory Till. He says, instead of Andromeda, he wanted to ask you a Stargate question because he wanted to mix it up a little bit. He said, if the Stargate franchise had continued, how, and you kind of already answered this, but how would you have liked to see Carolyn Lam's character develop?
I think I would have probably liked to have seen a little bit more reconciliation with her dad, a better kind of understanding of why he was absent, or you know what I mean, just the conflict between Lam and her dad. Other than that, maybe, well, no, because I did go off world. Sorry, I was just thinking maybe go off world. I think I did once. I think maybe that, just sort of discover that. I think there was at some point there was a plan to have Lam be Mitchell's love interest, to which Michael was like, guys, no. Hired my wife. Can you not make her someone else's love interest?
Fair.
So I don't know if that would have ended up happening, but I think I would have liked to have seen some reconciliation with her dad. Yeah.
Great.
Love that. Oh goodness. I'm also looking forward to getting farther into Stargate because there's stuff. There's stuff.
So, just as a side note, so for our Patreon channel, we started a Stargate review because Stargate's one of the things that neither Kathleen or I have ever really watched.
Okay.
And so we started watching it. I've always watched the movie, loved the movie, but I never watched the TV series when they first came out.
And I had never seen any of it.
Right. And so we started with the movie, and we're like 9 episodes into the series now, and so we're still in season 1. So we're still working our way in. So
fun. This is great. I love finding shows. I'm actually a little bit jealous of you guys because I love finding shows that have like a long run. It's kind of like finding a good book and then realizing it's the first of a series of like 20 and you're like, yes, I have material to read that I'm going to enjoy. That it's like now with these shows that have like 7 episode runs or 8 episode runs, you're like, I want more.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm a little envious of you guys.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. We've really been enjoying it. We've only had, I think, 1 episode where collectively we were like, if we could skip that and never do that one ever again, that would be great.
Which episode was it?
Goodness gracious, what was the name of that? Hold on, I can tell you.
That wasn't Broca Divide, was it?
No, we liked the Broca.
Right. No,
I just laughed because I know that there are, I can't remember the names of them, but I know especially in the first and second season, there were some episodes that Michael, I'll just say, they were not his favorite.
Yeah, it was like episode.
So that's why I'm curious to see what yours.
4?
I think it was episode 5, the first commandment.
Yeah.
No. It wasn't. It was episode 3, whichever was the one where Carter gets taken captive or hostage by it was bad.
Oh, is that the one where she ends up being kind of worshipped and has this bizarre headdress kind of thing?
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
It was really weird. Like, there's these two warring factions and women. Yeah. Emancipation.
Right.
Season 1. Is that episode 3
Episode
or 4?
4.
Yeah. That was just brutal.
The
whole
nomadic
time we were
tribe descended from the Mongols.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Women's
that one.
property, restrict their rights, and believe. Oh,
I wanted to send
Right.
Amanda tapping an I'm sorry card after that.
sympathy
Like,
card.
sorry you had to do that
I hated that
episode.
episode.
Right.
But
It was so bad.
But then they made up for it the next couple ones after that. The next couple episodes were fantastic. So
Right.
And like, I know that there's always at least one episode in a season of a TV show that you're like, oh man, did we?
Oh yeah.
have to
And
do
it's
that?
like, I mean, apropos of the writer's strike that's going on right now, I have such an enormous amount of respect for writers, because even like back then, you don't see it that much anymore, but we were doing 22 episodes a season.
Mhm.
right.
So that's a lot of story to write. And you're right, Kathleen, not all of them are going to be winners. And every writer's room knows that. They're like, well, this one, we tried, we did our best, but because of time constraints. And again, I think writers, again, that divine dissatisfaction that I was referring to, I'm sure writers look at their scripts and always are kind of like, I want to add this or change this. And there's so many kind of like exterior voices that have a say, be it executives saying, can we just have like this scene that's written on the starship? Can that just take place in a park? Like that, where you have insane notes that you have to kind of meet and do, even though you disagree with them and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's crappy episodes happen every once in a while.
They do.
Which is funny you mentioned that, because we just interviewed Gary Whitta, who's the screenwriter for Star Wars Rogue One, Book of Eli, things like that.
Oh wow, right.
I had an amazing chat with him, because he also wrote a new book called Gundog.
Right.
And he was talking about that very same thing. Like, the executives get a hold of it, they look at the story. Well, really, that dog, why can't it be a cat? Let's make that dog a cat. And,
and you're
let's
like,
make him.
The story is about dogs.
Right, exactly. And he's like, and they don't care. They just, just want to make some notes.
Mhm.
There was I don't know what to call it anymore, but I'm just going to call it Twitter for no other reason than to piss Elon Musk off.
It's Twitter.
Yeah.
It's
Twitter. But there was a Twitter account called TV Network Notes that is legitimate, like true notes that writers have gotten from the network. And it is so funny, some of the notes that they've been given. And because like everybody who works in this business has stories of like stupid notes that they've gotten, right? Like, it's a storyline about, your protagonist has cancer and somebody's like, this is like kind of sad. Like, can we like have her not have cancer? And it's like, that's the story. But that is the story. What do you?
Kind of
so there's like excellent.
Porto.
If you get a chance to look it up, it's called TV Network Notes. I don't even know if it's still on there, given how everything's gone crazy.
I just wrote it down. We're gonna have to check.
Oh yeah, it's very funny.
Very good.
So there was another question from Gregory Till that I thought was interesting. He said that he thinks that other people will probably agree with this. He personally didn't feel that the later seasons of Andromeda were as good as the early seasons. So he was wondering if or what you would change about the later seasons if you could. That face says
I don't know if you can see me trying to eat my own mouth, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to start with, and this is no offense to Bob Engels, who I really enjoyed working with and is a lovely man. Maybe don't fire Robert Wolf. Is just what I'm going to put out there, because he had a plan for the entire run of the series that after he was fired or let go, I'm not quite sure this. I mean, I kind of know, but I don't know what they settled on in terms of him leaving the show. But he had a really, really neat and interesting kind of template or plan for the whole run of the series. Largely involving trans Gemini, Laura Bertram's character, that they kind of did, but they did without his input. So I don't think it was well fleshed out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So I would just say don't fire Robert Hewitt Wolf.
Sounds like a plan.
Just a
that
thought.
sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. All right, we'll move on. Eric Starkey wants to know about the movie Jason X.
Yeah.
What was it like doing a role reversal where you played where someone else plays the android and you played the human?
Well, the funny thing is Lisa and I shot that, Lisa Ryder, who played Becca Valentine, for your audience that might not know or didn't watch Andromeda. Lisa Ryder and I shot that before we went to shoot Andromeda. So when we were filming Jason X, sorry, if you hear shouting, it's my cat. When we were filming Jason X, we actually auditioned and had to fly to Los Angeles for the screen test for Andromeda. And comically, we both actually screen tested for Becca Valentine. And because they had already offered me the role of Andromeda, and my agent at the time was like, let's see if we can get you to screen test for the number 2 on the call sheet, which was Becca Valentine. I'm like, okay. So we went out. Lisa is a far superior, would have made and did. She made a perfect Becca Valentine. I kind of wanted to play Andromeda, but my agent was she was just agenting. That's what she was doing.
Doing her job, yeah.
Yeah, she was doing her job. So they came back and offered me the role of Andromeda again. The problem was there was an overlap in filming. Lisa was going to be done before I was on Jason X, so she could go out for the beginning of filming to Vancouver. I had to stay to finish doing Jason X and then fly out to Vancouver to start doing Andromeda. And if you notice in the first 2 episodes, I think it is, of Andromeda, Rommie doesn't have a body yet. Harper builds her body. That wasn't initially planned. That was because I was unavailable. And so when I got there, I had to do a bunch of green screen stuff. And we laughed about it when we were on the set of Jason X, because if you watch Jason X, you could literally take the cast of Jason X and move them into Andromeda.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Peter Mensah could have played Tiranasazi, like all these. It was just, we thought it was very funny that it was kind of this template of, this is what a show in space is going to have. It's going to have these characters.
Fantastic.
So we thought it was hilarious.
That is pretty great. All right, and we have one last question from the Andromeda group, from Cesare Marino. I'm hoping is the correct pronunciation there.
We're going to go with that.
Cesar?
Yes, that sounds great.
Maybe just Cesar.
I think it might be Cesar.
Okay.
I have an uncle Cesar, so that's the only reason why I think
we'll
it
go
might
with
be
Bingo.
Cesar.
And we're going with that now.
So have you ever thought of trying to create a fan film or a little reunion of the old actors of Andromeda to celebrate the series?
No, I don't know that I don't think we do a fan film per se. Like, I keep in touch with Gord, obviously, because I was connected with you guys through Gord, and Ryder and Laura periodically. And I see Brent State every once in a while, but I don't know where Keith is. And I don't really keep in touch with Kevin. So I don't know that we would. Yeah. But, you know, like, no drama or anything.
All right.
Oh, fair. Just, hey, stuff happens. Life happens.
Yeah.
So
just don't really think about it that much.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, Lexa, we have one final question for you. And we like to call this our silly question. You can answer this as serious or silly as you like.
Oh,
and
goody.
we started this long time ago after Sam Witwer destroyed my Star Wars quiz, and I decided we need to do something different. So we moved on into instead of asking quiz questions of our guests, we decided we'd ask a silly question.
Okay.
And we settled on this one because we think that it's a shame that nobody asks this of adults anymore.
Okay.
Lexa Doig, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Ooh. See, my initial instinct is to say a T-Rex, but I feel like that's like the pumpkin spice latte of dinosaurs. So I'm gonna go with an Apatosaurus.
Ooh.
I have no idea why. I can't actually bring up an image of what an Apatosaurus looks like. The name floated across my brain, so I'm going with it. I'm being brave.
Solid.
Fortune
I like
favors the bold. Yeah.
it. It does. It does favor the
Because
bold.
I can't be liking the pumpkin spice latte of dinosaurs.
I will never be able to look at a T-Rex the same way. Because now in the next Jurassic Park movie, instead of hearing it roar, I'm just going to be hearing it go, yes.
Yeah. Now I just want you to picture it with over-the-knee boots, suede, and a scarf,
Right. It's Han Solo
and like
season.
a jaunty
Yeah.
little hat, holding their Starbies. Going, wait a minute, hold on. Yes. Okay. I
Love
want you to, next time you see a
It's
T-Rex.
already being pictured. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I absolutely
You
love
can
it.
make merch. T-Rex, the pumpkin spice latte of dinosaurs. There you go.
Bingo. There you go.
I am literally messaging my friend who makes his living painting dinosaur pictures.
Oh, that would be perfect for him. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Oh no, Bobby will totally love that. He will
I love it.
hysterically.
If he paints a picture of the pumpkin spice latte T-Rex mashup, please tag me in it.
We will make sure that you get it. Yeah.
Definitely.
I promise you will see it.
I mean, he's
Excellent.
actually currently got a collection of paintings at an art festival in Grand Rapids, and
Right.
his collection of paintings is dinosaurs in peculiar places.
Fantastic.
So it's, like he's got a T-Rex like sleeping under a gas, like sleeping at a gas station, like tucked
Fantastic.
under the overhang by the gas pumps, which is super cute. He's got
That
a couple
is cute.
others where they're like dinosaurs coming out of barns, and it's like
Right.
it's just
I
it's
love
just
it.
funny. There are places where they don't belong, and
I just want to see a dinosaur on like a Ferris wheel.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be so cute. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness, Lexa, we have enjoyed our conversation with you so much today. Where
Oh.
can our viewers and our listeners go to find out more about you and your work post strike? Whenever that happens.
The Google is helpful, but I'm at Lexa Doig on social media platforms, one word, on Instagram, on Twitter, which I don't really use that much anymore, and on Threads. I'm the same thing. I do have a TikTok account, but I don't post anything on it because I can't figure out how. Like, I mean, technically I can figure out how, but TikTok is an odd place. It's a great place, but I don't know that I have anything to contribute to that platform.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I
I like it more
appreciate
for
it.
viewing.
I am on it a lot because
Oh, yeah.
I find it very
Same.
amusing, and I
Same.
appreciate the content on there. It seems like a different, like, I feel like Instagram is one of those places that you can opt in and out of periodically, but it feels like TikTok is one of those things that you have to produce daily content.
I
And
feel
I'm
like
like, yeah, that's my ADHD cannot handle that.
Yeah.
I think you and Michael need to do like dance challenge videos on TikTok together.
I've been trying. I've been trying. He's not. My kids are also mildly horrified because I make videos on TikTok that are private, just so I can send them to my kids and threaten to make them public.
Ooh,
Oh,
yes.
I love that.
And they are like, my mom, no. So it's the only
Parenting
leverage
at
I
its
really
finest.
have still, like they're grown. My youngest is 17. I the only leverage I have is shame. It's like embarrassment.
Shame and
So-
embarrassment. It's a powerful tool.
It's great.
I do love embarrassment.
Exactly.
I did not when I was a kid, and now that my daughter is old enough to do the "oh my gosh, mom, stop!"
Oh no,
like,
no. It's different as a parent than as a kid.
Oh yeah, as
It's
a parent,
absolutely great.
it's the best.
Mhm.
Like I
I
remember
agree.
threatening. I threatened our eldest. I said, "Your dad and I are going to show up in gold lame shorts to pick you up from school." And
Oof.
she was dead serious. She was like, "You wouldn't." And I'm like, "We get paid to be idiots for a living. This one we do for free."
There you go. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Well, thank you for having me. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed our chat.
All right, guys, we want to remind you that subscribing is the single most important thing that you can do to help us get more amazing guests like Lexa Doig here today to have these conversations with and funny moments for you guys to be able to listen to. So please subscribe. And check out our Patreon page as well. There's going to be some great behind the scene content from this very interview that will not have been posted in the original. So if you want to go check that out, you got to go to our Patreon page, and you can see that we have 5 different levels of Patreon from $1 to $40. There's something there for everybody, and you guys can have a lot of fun there. But if for whatever reason you are not happy with the content of our show today, we'd like to remind you that you have the opportunity to complain and lodge a complaint with the head of our complaint department. That, of course, is Emperor Ming. As cruel as he is ruthless, Ming accepts no failure or incompetence, which means we are so screwed. But be careful as you get ready to send in your complaint forms. You'll want to make sure that you'll have dotted all your T's and crossed all your I's or something like that. Because if Ming finds an error, or shoot, just because it's a day that ends in Y, you could be in just as much trouble as we are. So think twice, maybe even 3 times before you hit that enter key. Lexa, thank you so much. We've really enjoyed our time with you. And that's going to wrap it up for us today on the FSF Podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Mwah.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Copyright 2023 FSF Podcast.
Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF Podcast. The views expressed by the guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpodcast.com. Original music by Jordan Michaels.
Also, Bobby says that the dinosaur, the T-Rex, is definitely overrepresented. He agrees.
Yes.
It is definitely
Right.
pumpkin spice latte of dinosaurs.
There you go.